They say that every scar tells a story, but some wounds are so deep they swallow the narrative whole. In the center of a village that was once a home, there is now only a crater. A perfect, silent circle of nothingness. Standing at the edge of this void are two men. One, a god of his own making, wielding the purple eyes of the Rinnegan. The other, a boy who was feared before he was ever loved. Most see a clash of titans, a spectacle of chakra and vengeance. But if we look through the lens of philosopher Emmanuel Levinas, we see something far more terrifying. We see the ethics of the face. Levinas argued that ethics begins the moment we look into the face of another. The face is not just skin and bone, it is a summons. It is a silent command that says, "Do not kill me." It is the realization that the other is a world as vast and as fragile as our own. For Naruto Uzumaki, this was the ultimate trial. Pain didn't just destroy a village, he destroyed Naruto's sense of justice. He murdered the master, the friends, and the peace. He became the unforgivable. In any other story, the hero's fist would be the period at the end of the sentence. But Naruto did something that defied the laws of shonen tropes and human nature alike. He stopped. He listened. He became a diplomat of pain. Today, we aren't talking about a ninja war. We are talking about the radical, almost violent act of choosing peace when every fiber of your being demands blood. Why did the boy with the monster inside decide to save the monster in front of him? To understand the answer, we must first descend into the philosophy of the cycle of hatred and the crushing weight of the other. To understand why Naruto chose to stay his hand, we must first understand the man who forced it. Nagato, operating through the hollowed-out corpse of his childhood friend, did not see himself as a villain. In the noir landscape of his mind, he was a savior, a dark messiah, born from the ashes of rain and forgotten wars. His philosophy was simple, brutal, and terrifyingly logical. True peace is impossible as long as humans believe they can understand each other through words alone. For pain, the only universal language is trauma. Learn to embrace fear, he whispered to a dying world. In his eyes, the Rinnegan were not just weapons, they were the tools of a cosmic equalizer. He believed that by inflicting a wound so deep that it scarred the collective memory of humanity, he could create a temporary sanctuary of peace, born from shared terror. This is the cycle of hatred. In its most crystallized form, a feedback loop of vengeance, where every justice is merely a new mask for a fresh atrocity. When Naruto stands before pain, he isn't just fighting a man, he is fighting a mirror. Pain is what happens when the hero gives up on the other. He represents the ultimate failure of Levinas's ethics of the face. To pain, the face of the enemy is no longer a human summons. It is a statistic, a target, a necessary sacrifice for a greater stability. He had replaced the infinite responsibility for the neighbor with a cold, calculated arithmetic of death. This is where the tension reaches its breaking point. Naruto Uzumaki, fueled by the primal rage of the Nine Tails, is standing at the precipice. The heat of the fox's cloak is a physical manifestation of the urge to dehumanize the man who killed Jiraiya. Everything in the narrative structure of this world demands that Naruto completes the cycle. The audience wants it. The ghosts of the fallen demand it. Even the logic of the world justifies it. To kill Nagato would be justice by every standard known to man. But here, the diplomat of pain begins to emerge from the wreckage of the boy. Naruto realizes that killing Nagato wouldn't end the war. It would simply pass the baton of hatred to the next orphan waiting in the shadows. He begins to see that the other, this monster who leveled his home, is not an abstract evil. He is a consequence. He is a person whose face has been erased by the same systemic violence that once made Naruto an outcast. To look at pain and see Nagato is the most difficult task a human can undertake. It requires stripping away the armor of your own victimhood to acknowledge the pain of the person who victimized you. It is a descent into a moral abyss, where the lines between me and you begin to blur into a shared, agonizing humanity. Naruto is no longer fighting for Konoha. He is fighting for the very possibility that two enemies can exist in the same space without one having to cease to exist. The climax of this philosophical war does not happen in the center of the battlefield, but in the silence of a paper tree. When Naruto tracks down Nagato's true body, the atmosphere shifts from the explosive energy of a shonen battle to the suffocating tension of a noir interrogation. Naruto is no longer the warrior, he is a witness. Levinas once wrote that to be responsible for the other is to be hostage to them. In this dimly lit hideout, Naruto becomes a hostage to Nagato's story. He chooses to sit, to listen, and to hold the weight of a narrative that contradicts his own. This is what we call radical hospitality. It is the act of opening your world to the person who tried to destroy it. Nagato speaks of his parents, of his dog, of the rain that never stops falling in a land used as a playground for great nations. As the story unfolds, the face of Nagato begins to solidify through the shadows. He is no longer a god, and he is no longer a corpse. He is a frail, emaciated man sustained by machinery and a dying dream. By listening, Naruto forces Nagato to become human again. He refuses to let Nagato hide behind the mask of pain. In this moment, Naruto embodies the most difficult part of Levinas's philosophy, the substitution. To substitute oneself for the other means to take on their suffering as if it were your own, without demanding anything in return. Naruto feels the cold of the hidden rain. He feels the hunger of the orphans. He feels the sting of Yahiko's death. He doesn't offer a counter-argument to Nagato's logic because, on a purely intellectual level, Nagato isn't wrong. The world is cruel. The cycle is real. But Naruto realizes that logic is exactly what has kept the war alive for centuries. The Diplomat of Pain understands that you cannot argue someone out of their trauma. You can only walk through it with them. When Naruto reaches into his pouch and produces the book written by Jiraiya, he isn't just showing a souvenir. He is presenting a third path. The book represents a shared face, a memory of a man they both loved and both failed. It is the bridge built over the abyss of their mutual hatred. Naruto's refusal to kill Nagato is a violent disruption of the expected justice. It is a glitch in the matrix of human revenge. By choosing not to strike, Naruto breaks the symmetry of violence. In the noir world of Shinobi, everyone is a mirror, blood for blood, eye for eye. Naruto shatters the mirror. He accepts the infinite responsibility that Levinas talked about, realizing that if he kills Nagato, he remains a prisoner of the past. If he forgives, he becomes the architect of a future that hasn't been written yet. It is a moment of pure, terrifying freedom. He is standing before a man who killed his father figure, yet he chooses to say, "I will carry your pain, so you don't have to scream anymore." The story of Naruto in pain does not end with a handshake or a simple apology. It ends with a sacrifice and a heavy, lingering silence. When Nagato chooses to believe in Naruto, he isn't just changing his mind. He is surrendering his entire worldview to the other. By using the ghetto art of resurrection, Nagato restores the lives he took. But in doing so, he pays the ultimate price. This is the final validation of the ethics of the face. The realization that the life of the other is more important than one's own survival. Nagato dies not as a god of pain, but as a human being who is finally seen, heard, and understood. However, for Naruto, the Diplomat of Pain, the real struggle begins after the dust settles. In the noir reality of this world, forgiveness is not a magic spell that heals all wounds. It is a heavy, exhausting burden. As Naruto walks back toward the ruins of his village, he isn't celebrating. He is limping. He is carrying the weight of two legacies, his own and his enemies. This is the burden of peace that Levinas hinted at. The responsibility for the other does not end when the conflict stops. It is a permanent state of being. You are forever the guardian of the peace you chose to create. To the world, Naruto became a hero. But to the philosopher, he became a radical anomaly. In a system built on the will to power, Naruto introduced the will to care. He proved that the only way to truly defeat an enemy is to abolish the very category of enemy. By recognizing the face of Nagato, Naruto didn't just save a village. He saved the soul of his world from the mechanical inevitability of war. He transformed the shinobi men who were meant to be mere tools of the state into moral agents capable of choosing mercy over duty. As we look at the crater of Konoha, we must ask ourselves, what does it mean to be a diplomat of pain in our own lives? We live in a world of digital walls and echo chambers, where the other is often reduced to an avatar, a political label, or a faceless threat. We are constantly tempted to erase the face of those who hurt us, to simplify the narrative into us versus them. Naruto's journey reminds us that the most heroic act isn't the one that destroys the monster, but the one that refuses to create a new one. The philosophy of Naruto Uzumaki is a haunting reminder that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of a radical, uncomfortable responsibility for the person standing across from us. It is the courage to look into the eyes of the unforgivable and say, "I see you." In the end, Naruto didn't win because he was the strongest. He won because he was the only one brave enough to be vulnerable in a world made of stone. The diplomat's mission is never truly over, for the cycle of hatred is always waiting for a single drop of blood to start again. But for one moment, in the shadows of a broken world, the face of the other was enough to stop the rain. In the cold, gray light of the aftermath, the crater of Konoha remains. It stands as a scar on the earth, a physical reminder that even when souls are healed, the history of violence leaves a mark. This is the final, sobering lesson of our noir exploration. The diplomat of pain does not live in a world of happy endings. He lives in a world of consequences. Naruto's choice to forgive Nagato did not bring back the years of suffering, nor did it erase the trauma of those who watched their world burn. What it did, however, was provide a foundation for something fragile and rare, a chance to begin again. Emmanuel Levinas once remarked that to be human is to live as if one were not alone. This is the core of the philosophy behind heroes. When we strip away the orange jumpsuit, the supernatural powers, and the legendary battles, we are left with a story about the terrifying proximity of the other. Naruto's greatness is not found in his ability to conquer nations, but in his willingness to be hostage to the pain of his worst enemy. He recognized that his own freedom was inextricably tied to the humanity of Nagato. He understood that as long as one person is trapped in the cycle of hatred, no one is truly free. As the camera pulls back from the ruins, leaving the characters behind in the grain of the film, we are left with the weight of our own faces. In our daily lives, we encounter our own pains, people who challenge our values, who disrupt our peace, and who seem beyond the reach of our empathy. The easy path is to look away, to harden our hearts, and to let the cycle continue its mechanical grind. But the path of the diplomat is different. It is the path of the witness. It is the decision to stay in the room, to keep the dialogue open, and to acknowledge that the person in front of us is a world unto themselves. Naruto Uzumaki's legacy is a testament to the idea that peace is not a destination, but a constant, exhausting practice of alterity. It is a radical hospitality that never ends. It is the realization that we are all, in some way, survivors of a world that doesn't always make sense. And in that shared survival, we find our highest calling, not to be judges, not to be executioners, but to be diplomats in a world that has forgotten how to speak the language of the soul. The cycle only ends when someone decides that the face of the enemy is worth more than the satisfaction of the strike.